welcome to the Chill Mom Boss Show with me, Michelle Hon. Today we have Purvi Shah with us, and we are going to talk about writing compelling content because I know a lot of you mompreneurs out there, we want to create content, but we're not sure what we should put out and what do people want to actually stop the scroll on Instagram and read about. Purvi Shah is the founder and the master trainer and the curriculum developer to the creative content writing program called Thinkers to Writer. So please help me welcome Purvi Shah. Hi, Purvi.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Hi. Thanks for coming on. And before we jump into the actual tips for our readers, I would like to hear a little bit more about your background and how did you get started into this whole creative writing journey?
Okay. All right. Okay. Hi. First of all, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be on this platform. It's really an honor. And yeah, well, a little bit about myself, I can say born and brought up in India, then migrated to Hong Kong 15 years back after marriage. My husband is been in Hong Kong since last 2 decades now. And I am a proud mother and a hands-on mother of 2 boys, 2 active boys, 14 and 10 years old. I have a background of interior design. I am basically background and educated there. Always had a keen sense of design, keen sense of harmony, and always wanted things in a particular way. You can say have been quite of an OCD, you might say, a very mild OCD there with all the things to be balanced and things to be harmonized, and a voracious reader and a writer. So I think creative writing workshops were a natural progression for me. I saw a lot of people out there in need because even if the products are good, or even for children, which is my actual target over here, for studies, to understand or to think, it becomes easier. It comes naturally for many of us, and especially the kids today. But to actually consolidate the content and write it down on paper, readable material, legible material, that's where the challenge comes. And I think that's where I walked in. And that's where Thinkers to Writers actually rightfully came into existence, that putting your thoughts to words, whether it is an essay, whether it's a writing, whether it's a short story, or in some cases, if you're trying to even sell your product, your taglines are very, very important. The spelling mistakes, a little bit nuances here and there, your placement of words, whereas again I said the harmony and the design part comes in. Those that's what was my target actually. That's what I wanted to achieve.
I see. So how did you come to this, like from being an interior designer and you're like, right, now I want to teach writing? Is it because of your boys, you were teaching them how to write? Like how, or you have friends who sort of like was struggling with writing? How did you, go into writing?
Yeah, you can say both of each, a little bit of everything that you mentioned. It began with tutoring or with teaching my children, my boys, to write the correct way. They were quite smart. They had a lot of technology at hands. They were into typing. Oh my God, they type at what speed? I'm not even trying to even. By the time I open the cap of the pencil and of my pen, and they've already typed 3 lines or 4 sentences. But literally putting pencil to paper, that's where I thought that they were struggling. And also a few friends, they also were like quite encouraging, because they saw my children succeed, my boys succeed, and not stammering, not stuttering, having correct, trying to get correct English and writing skills over there. And that's where the natural progression happened. And I had a lot of hands-on time. At the same time, I didn't have that much time where I could pursue my designing career with a full day job or something, because that would take a lot of amount of time, a lot of amount of energy. I still needed to be with my sons. So this was quite good, a few hours a day with my workshops. This seemed ideal.
Awesome.
And something which I like.
Yeah. So when you first launched, right, I'm always curious about, okay, so when you have the idea, you've been, your friends been asking you about it. So like, so how do you start? Do you just like start with a website, or you didn't even have a website, you just jump into it and say, who wants to send their kids here? I'm running a workshop, right?
Yeah, so exactly. I was approached by a couple of people before that, would you want to be interested in something like that? But then COVID hit and it didn't work out. And then I was also approached with a social group over here who, because of the COVID, nobody was traveling, kids were stranded in Hong Kong per se, not traveling back home to India for their summer vacations. And then the summer workshops came into existence, and which were quite a success. 6 weeks of writing the concept, and from ages 8 to 15 or 16-year-old children coming in, learning the basics of writing. And just before that, I had thought of my summer workshops to come in, and that's where the Thinkers to Writers name per se came into existence. And after that, yeah, the rest is history, as they say, and it's just one thing led to another, and word of mouth, and yes, my
And
workshops
more
have been.
workshops, right? Once you started the first one, people have seen results, you have customer
Yes,
testimonials, and that's when you can get the second and the
right.
third, and then more
Yes.
ideas comes in. So this episode specifically is not really, well, I guess we can touch about how moms can guide their children to write better. But I suppose like
Mhm.
let's help our existing mompreneur first in their own writing, right? We need to kind
Right.
of understand how we can write better before we kind of like coach our kids, right? So what are
Right.
common mistakes that you see people do when they're writing on social media or for business?
Oh wow, a lot of mistakes. As I said in the beginning of the interview, also a little bit of a spelling mistake, the I's and the E's. Of course, I cannot say because it's not written and it's not typed. So thankfully, dotting the I's or crossing the T's is all taken care of. But the word placement, something like a very, very simple, because see, we have to see on Instagram, when people are, for example, promoting whatever, their home products, their homemade products, or jewelry, or candles, or clothes, attire, whatever.
Mm.
The correct placement and the hashtags. I think people, I don't blame all moms. Are the generation that we come from, and the social media and Instagram is the new toy that we have now. The hashtags are a little overboard. Some
So
of
you
them
mean the
actually,
hashtag in between the caption or the hashtag
yes.
and
Uh, no, in between the caption, the
yeah.
placements, and then the
When you say
writings.
placement, what do you mean by placement?
Because there are too many hashtags. There is too
Right.
long sometimes. Most of us moms, I think they are just experimenting with it, and they want to give all the information of that one particular product on that page, on that post. So, and that's where the placement of the words, the letters, and of course, the spelling mistakes come in. So your tagline, if you are actually looking at maybe 50 posts a day, 50 similar posts on your news feed, in between, any mom, in between her job, her coffee break or lunch break, or even when if she's a hands-on homemaker, and she's just put her feet up for that 20 minutes before the kids come back from school, or the next kid needs an absolute emergency color pencil which the other friend had at school, and he has to have it right now. Before those 20 minutes, when the mom is sitting and she's going through and she's trying to think, okay, let me buy some jewelry, or I see this person's post quite often, or this piece looks good. But when you read the bio, when you read that, that's where my heart goes out. And that could have been made much catchier, if I might say. uh, Beautiful it is, but the content could have had much more depth, and the tagline could have caught the attention, because sometimes you're just mindlessly scrolling, and something to stand out of those 50 posts is I think maybe where I come in, or where I can help the moms to write something catchy to get that attention, because all of us I think don't spend more than 3 to 5 seconds on one post, and in that 5 seconds you've got to achieve visually, your brain has to achieve, all the information, all the data has to be registered by that mom in that 20 minutes that she might end up placing an order with you or DMing you for a price and details. And at the end of the day, you might get some business.
Yeah.
Because that's what we all are doing. We all are here for.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you say tagline, that means when you scroll on Instagram, you get an image post, and then right underneath, there's only like a, now Instagram shorten your caption to only show, I don't know how many characters, but it's literally about one sentence. So make that very compelling to make one people to actually click on the read more button. Otherwise, it's like, yeah, nice, okay.
Yeah, because if you're giving those many characters, if you are trying, we are introducing or we are launching the new Diwali collection, and then it's read more, everybody else is doing it.
Yeah, correct.
Or the placement, the exact placement, what you're trying to introduce, what exactly you're trying to use. It may be the product information, if it's a unique product, if it's a new product, if it's something which is standalone from the 200 bags you've scrolled above, or another 50 necklaces. If it's a gate, everybody else is doing a gate right now. But something different, something about it. Give the basic information in those probably 100 characters which you are allowed in the Instagram, and then the read more button comes in. And avoid hashtags at that time. That would be my.
That's right. And I think like one of the quick how to say example that I could give is like, if let's say you're running a giveaway, just put giveaway, like a really big one first, instead of going, we are so excited to announce that we are going to, by the time like that ends, people can't even see that's actually a giveaway, right? So just highlight what is so important that would capture people to stop the scroll, and then you can go on your long story, right? So that's the placement you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about, the placement, and you correctly understood what I'm trying to say, and exactly that's it. Highlight what you are trying to sell, highlight what you're trying to say at this minute. It's like, if I may add, like even in my creative writing workshops, I tell my children that you may think that the title is nothing, you may think your content is important, but no, to a teacher, if I have 20 odd students and all of you are given the same assignment, the same topic to discuss on, your title, your initial thing which is written on that essay, is going to be the determining factor for me to either pick up that child's essay first. When I know everybody is the same content, the same topic I have given for exam, I know it's that. So your tagline, your information, your title, your book blurb, which is also as important as your title, those are the things which is going to, with the attention span, and unfortunately in the media savvy, the technology world that we all are living in, all our attention spans are very limited.
We're getting lower, shorter and shorter attention span. So that's the first tip for you. Make sure that your first words or your title has to be catchy. So that's one tip for mompreneurs, for your own content writing, and also what you would teach your kid. Okay, if they're already writing composition and score, make sure the title. So do you advise people to write their title first before they go into the full thing, or write the full thing first and then come up with the title? Because I have here like two school of thoughts there.
Yes. So I do not teach my children what they have to think.
Okay.
It can happen because they themselves can think, and that's what they are. They just have to put their thoughts to word. See, sometimes a particular essay, a particular story is itself, it begins with the title. So sometimes the title goes first, and then the title, the basic general idea, is your entire story plot. So that sometimes it's just the story. The title itself is your story, the lead to your story, is your leading man. Sometimes there are three options. A, you already have a title and you're basing your entire story, your entire plot on that. B, you come between halfway to your story, and that's when a particular dialogue, a particular scenario hits you, which has probably is not even your basic or your main plot of the story, but something which hits you, and you might want to put that as your title, or you do both, and by the end you absolutely change it, and you put a third one, a completely new one. So before submission, proofreading comes in. And that's where your title, I mean, just before you're submitting, whether it's to me or to the publisher, to anybody, that's proofread, think about it. It can be anything. Your story can be of, for an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old, a story is just going an amusement park, a day well spent in Ocean Park on Halloween. That could be a story. So I am not asking you a Halloween title, which everybody is going to write for me, or an Ocean Park title, which everybody's going. There could be something in middle that happened to you. Your sandwich got messy. Something you can even give that as a funny, witty title.
To pick interest.
So your title
to get
yes,
your,
to pick,
hey,
yes,
what
yes.
sandwich, right? What is it?
I mean, and then what is it? So so there are three scenarios. There is no clear-cut rule. There is no rule per se that you have to begin with the title or you have to have it at the end. You can even change it. You can change it 3 times before your final product is out. So think, that is where the key word is, think before hitting the post button or submitting to the teacher, or in a kid's case, or sending the email, send button, whatever. Just proofread again. That would be my tip actually to everybody, to even the mompreneurs, to everyone.
Okay, awesome. So that's okay. So that's tip number 1. That's almost like tip number 2. Okay, you can always come up with a title later on when you're like halfway through and you're like, hey, this is like a more poignant point that I can put it out there that would grasp people's attention. So let's put it out there as the first line that would be like, what? Okay, I want to read more to find out what you have to say for the rest of your post or the rest of your blog post, right? Okay, that's awesome. What about do you have another tip that you want to give our mompreneurs in terms of writing?
Tip, I think, is keep it simple for especially social media posts, which we all are working on. And as we've covered before, there are lots and lots of information. So everybody just keep it simple. That's the most important tip number 1 or tip number 3 or all tips together. Keep it simple, keep it real, keep it honest. That's it, because whoever the consumer is also aware of many things that's happening simultaneously in the market. The consumer doesn't need to be bombarded with probably the history of this particular thing at this moment, at this point when he or she is scrolling down. So keep it simple, keep it real. And then when the information is asked, or when there is more supply or demand process begins with whatever your product that is, that's where you can get into the details and the history and the information and the instructions and everything, whatever you want to say.
Good point. Because sometimes we do want to like give everything to the consumer. We're like, oh my God, I feel like I haven't told them this thing, so I'm going to tell them this. And we're like, oh my God, I haven't told them this. So we're bombarding people with whole information. So make it to just maybe perhaps 1 or 2 points per post. And then when there's more interest, then you can sort of build up on that story with your following up posts. You don't need to give everybody like the whole 20 things in the one post. What you're saying?
Yes, exactly. That's what my absolute point has been. Or create a separate post. I mean, if you are having a particular thing, just the first post, keep it simple, keep it real. Look at the amount of likes you're getting. Look at the DM requests you're getting. Look at the information. And by the end of that day or a couple of days later, create a separate post, I would suggest, in which you have again a basic information given about it. or put it on your story. People who are interested in your product in the first go, they are likely to give more interest, and they are likely to come back to you with that questions, with those information requirements, and that's it. And then you are sorted, other than bombarding them with 25 different things and losing the content in the middle, the actual content.
Yeah, yeah, losing the point of the content in the content.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. That's what I've seen. I've unfortunately seen. Yeah.
Well, I think, but there is also another school of thoughts that says, because we do want people to spend more time on a post, so therefore people are writing longer posts these days, so longer captions.
Yeah,
Instagram favors it when people spend more time on your posts instead of just scrolling away. But the first thing is how do you make people spend more time is to actually be captivating enough right at the start so that people will actually finish up your post, but still keep it to 1 or 2 points, one call to action, and not just like, do this, do this, do this, do this, and a lot of people.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. Keep people interested in your post for a longer time is like a double-sided sword, because yes, they might be wanting to read all those things that you've put in, but as I told you, the attention span is so low. By the 5th second or the 6th sentence, they're just there. Yes, they're there, but I don't know how much the brain has taken, and is it the correct information you're trying to. It's like talking to your child. You're just talking and talking, but you don't know which word, which sentence the child is going to take. So all the time talking the correct words or the correct content is very important.
That's where your creative writing comes in, right? Like, okay, so what next?
Yes.
What next? How do you continuously, like, even though it's a long post, you make sure that it's engaging from sentence 1, sentence 2, and sentence 2, you're making people want to read more to sentence 3. And this is not
Yeah, so I think the chain, don't get carried away. I think keep the chain, if because there are most of the times all of us are multitasking, multi-products, advertising. So keep the post as a chain reaction. Keep it A, B, C. If you're keeping it, write it down on a piece of paper before just coming and typing it at that time. That's where your spell checks also happen. That's where everything else happens. Because what happens is when you're just typing at that minute, at that particular time, you might just get a text in your scroll down. You might get a telephone call in the middle. It could be anything, and you're going to get distracted. You might even have to come back to the post if there's some urgent call. So I think do it at a time when you're ready, when you know for the next 30 seconds or 1 minute you're just going to be. So it's always better, go back to the old school, write it down, form it if it's an important thing, and put it at ABC or asterisk it or star it or hashtag it, whatever you want to do it. And then just simple paste it, copy paste or copyright or write and then copy, whatever suits you.
Yeah. So draft it somewhere else. Do not draft it straight onto Instagram because it's distracting. You got a message coming in, someone going live, you got the notification. Like, what? I want to watch that. And then like 2 hours later, you are still not done with the one post, right? Yes. So what I do is I open up my notes on my computer and I type there because it's just easier to type on my computer than on this like little thing. And then I just copy from there and paste it when I'm ready to post. Otherwise, I do not open up Instagram and distract myself.
Perfect. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what you will see yourself, the quality of your post. You will see yourself. In fact, because see, we all are our best judges. So when we have written it or typed it, you like typing, you type it on the computer, or I like to write. I'm still of the paper person and the pen person. I write it down and I see myself making maybe, a comma here or a comma there or an exclamation mark here. There is so much you can do. And you can shorten it, you can widen it, you can lengthen it as you want, because sometimes, once you hit the post button, you say, oh, I forgot the important information, or oh, I give too much, my post is unnecessarily long.
Yeah.
And not without reaching its audience, or giving out its content at the right time. So yeah, proofreading, drafting, writing it at before, and posting probably at a time when I mean, I give, I myself, even I get a little distracted if I'm posting something for mine. So what I do is I give myself 5 minutes to look through all the posts of other people until Instagram tells me you've caught up. And then I post mine. So it becomes easier for me. I'm not distracted. Oh, there's something down I need to see. There's something up I need to see, or I missed that one. I get myself caught up at the end of the day. I see everything, what I have to see. So my brain is okay. I know. I might even learn a few things from there. Learn a few,
right?
Yeah, learn a few mistakes, what probably unknowingly the others have done, or something, get inspired by something else, and yes, and then edit it and then write it. So in my head, when Instagram tells me you've caught up, relax, it's okay, your day is done, you can post yours, and that's when I start posting.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean, because sometimes we're like, our brains is kind of like, I wonder what is happening. I just want to like check it out, because we're just too busybody wanting to like,
Yes,
at least like you cut that
yes.
part of the brain off. Okay, you've caught up now. Now just focus and do your own work now.
True, exactly. I think we all suffer from, like, the fear of missing out. So you just want to do everything, you want to be there.
Right? We do that sometimes.
Yeah. We all of that. The levels are vary, but yeah, at latent, it's there.
Yeah, but you can also get too carried away. One thing leads to another, and before you know it, like 2 hours has passed, and oh my God, I haven't done anything.
Yeah.
Give yourself a time limit. I actually like set. I think on the phone now you can set yourself a time limit, how much time you spend on social media, so like up and down, and like, okay, that really snapped me back into like, oh my God, I spent too much time today on social media. I better like.
That's a good idea.
Dial it down a bit less today, and a bit more output instead of just consuming.
True. I agree with that. We all should have that.
So, for our audience, if they want to know, get to know you better and want to like find out about your creating writing course better, where can they find you?
They can find me. I have a Facebook page with the same name as Thinkers to Writers. In Instagram feed, thinkers_to_writers, and the same Thinkers to Writers. I'm easily available on email. It's purvz76@yahoo.com. So it's purvz76@yahoo.com. And later on, if there is more, we can also connect via WhatsApp and telephone calls later on. I have quite a few mothers interested on a Zoom or an online class overseas, not only in Hong Kong. So that's what they check it out, and then they either DM me or PM me, depending on the handle that they're using. And then one thing goes to another, and we can speak or WhatsApp or do a Zoom class, and yeah.
Cool.
And it's open to everybody, the mothers, the children, everyone.
Yeah. Okay. So typically for children, right? From what age to what age they'll be coming to you, or you'll be?
I begin by 8. That's my ideal age, because the basic sentence formation and the basic alphabet has to be learned by the child, because I'm not doing that part yet. So yeah. By 8, then the grammar enhancement and the sentence formation, the figures of speech, the literacy devices, everything is introduced. It depends. I have 2 things. There are older students who are just looking for the creative writing workshops, which are 6 to 8 weeks. And there are younger students whose the mothers realize that they need the foundational training, and then we go slower to the creative writing process.
So in the creative writing 6 to 8 weeks program, what do you actually teach in creative writing?
Creative writing is vast, and what I do is I introduce. It's an introduction to creative writing, which which is a brush up every week, a new topic. And what I do is I encourage, it could be two things. It could be every week a new topic taught, but they can begin with the first story that they began in the first week, where the basic concept of essay is taught. And then every small detail is introduced. There is genres, there is point of views, there is writing with your senses, there is twists ending, the twists ending. So there is a lot of things. Yeah, a lot of things. So, but yes, I tell my students to either they can every week with the new topic, but it's all interconnected. Either they can use the same story, which I love, because it becomes like a baby by the end of the 6th week or the 7th week, and the characters start molding. There is a lot of things involved in it. Or they can choose an absolutely new topic for that particular topic that have been taught in class on that day, which we are covering, and we can see how it is. It depends on what the child needs. Whatever the child is covering. But I think I have seen 9 out of 10 children sticking to the for the first story, which we do in the first class.
It's like character development. At the end of it, they can like, if you want to continue, you can develop it into a novel.
Yes. Because it's the first chapter. In fact, the first class is focused on creating characters. So once you create those characters, and then you don't want to. You like to play with them, and you can do a lot of things, and kids really enjoy. And it all depends. The 8-year-olds have different characters and different sets, and it's encouraging. It's so great to see them write sometimes, and there are so many surprise packagings. The mothers who come and tell me, "Oh, my child hates books. My child hates reading," and they are the ones who write brilliantly. They have a absolute clear-cut insight of what they want the story to be or what their character needs to do.
Wow.
So yes,
that sounds fun. That sounds fun. All right.
Yes, it is. It is so good.
Yeah, I consider sending my children to you. Yeah,
oh,
my eldest is 8, so and she absolutely loves storybook. And I think the younger they are, the better, because the more creative they can be. There's no boundary. There's no like logical, like, oh, that doesn't make sense, because they're very imaginative still at this age. So I think it's a brilliant time to start them on creative writing and just let their imagination takes them and build on their communication skills.
True. Yeah, because they're very innocent, and they have no inhibitions. They are ready to tell what they want. They are not thinking whether it's politically correct, whether it's not correct. Yes, the inappropriate. They're not. They're so innocent. They've not even reached the inappropriate part, or they don't even know. Everything is and it's nice. It's so nice to see and get into their psyche.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. I think we've learned heaps. We've learned for moms themselves how to create a good content, and then for them as well, if creative writing could be something that's beneficial for their children. So thank you so much for spending your time with us, Purvi. And when this is out, I'll let you know. And hopefully this will reach more people. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you have more questions, of course, you can reach out to michellehon.com and Purvi directly. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.